And now it's my turn to tell you a little bit about what's on my little mind today. All righty. Oops, turn that off. So it says in Vayikra, the Torah reading from today, chapter 19, verse 18, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against members of your people. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai. That's interesting. And then it says, love your neighbor as yourself. This teaches us the mitzvah of Ahavat Yisrael, or loving the Jewish people. Many commentators teach that this verse's primary meaning is to love your fellow Jew as much as you love yourself. But it says love your fellow or your neighbor as yourself. But why does it say that? Where did we live? We always lived next to other Jews. we always lived together. It's hard for us to understand that today because that's not how it is today. But that's how it was then. The Jews lived together. So if it says love your fellow or your neighbor as yourself, it's talking about other Jews. But you're not allowed to hate people, whether they were Jews or not. So this is really difficult to grasp since so many people love others more than themselves. So if you're supposed to love somebody as yourself, but you love people more than yourself, is that acceptable? And still others, frankly, are incapable of love at all. And then there's everything in between. This is a hard mitzvah to follow if you have to love somebody like you love yourself and you don't like yourself. You don't love yourself. So the reality is such a mitzvah is impossible to fulfill. At least I think so. Even if we all knew love the same way, which I don't think we do, we all know people who are simply not lovable. We all know them. I'm sure things are popping through your head right now. They're just not lovable. What are you going to do? More importantly, if we tried to love everybody, we would wind up loving nobody. That's how it is. So to make matters worse, today as we sit here in the comforts of our home, history is repeating itself out there again. Sounds like it's deja vu all over again. It was such a brilliant statement. But has anyone noticed how hard it is to love everyone while anti-Semitism is so rapidly on the rise? How can you love everyone? We Jews are hated by way too many people. It's just a fact. Maybe we want to paper it over or make it so it's not true. It's true, and it has always been true. We Jews are hated by way too many people. So if we do not love our fellow Jew, let me ask you a question. Who will? If everybody hates us, who's going to love us? Only we can love Jews. Others can, but it's our responsibility. We must. We Jews are not just a religion and not just a people. We are a 4,000-year-old family. And that is why we must work hard to love each other. We're family. It's true. I always called a lot of you my golden mishpacha, my golden family. And some people got upset when I said it because they thought it made you sound old. No, a family isn't old. A family is a family. You're a golden mishpacha. You're golden to me. Your 4,000-year-old family behind where I come from and you come from, you are golden, not old. Notice I said we must work hard to love each other. But did I say that we have to like each other too? Nope, I didn't say that. I won't say it. I've never said it, and I never will. There is absolutely no notion of a mitzvah that requires us to like each other. We don't have to like each other. Frankly, not every one of us is likable to everyone else, but every Jew does deserve our love because we are family. Like and love are not the same. This is similar to how we view our political leaders. We all love our country and the roles our leaders fill, but we often dislike the people sitting in those roles. Speaking personally, I love my family. But there are times when things happen that causes me not to like some of them or them not to like me. But love, that's always there. That never goes away or is reduced. What about Jews who are totally secular or even atheist? Or what about Jews who have strange ideas about Zionism and think that the state of Israel should never exist? It should just go away. In fact, I know a story of a person who wants to convert to Judaism, not Jewish, who's a total atheist. What's the deal? Do we have to love them too? We can find the answer to these questions in a story that about Rav Avraham Yitzchak HaKohen Kook. Who is Rav Avraham Yitzchak HaKohen Kook? He lived from 1865 to 1935. He was still alive when some of you were born, but he died a while ago. He was an Orthodox rabbi, and he was the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi of the British-mandated Palestine. He is considered to be one of the fathers of religious Zionism. The story is about a tour of Israel that he gave to a Hasidic Rebbe by the name of Avraham Mordechai Alter. So in the year 1921, a little over 100 years ago, Rabbi Alter visited Eretz Yisrael for the first time in his life. He wanted to go to Yerushalayim. He asked several of his relatives to arrange a courtesy call with Rabbi Kook, who, as I said, was the chief Ashkenazi rabbi of Israel. It was arranged, and they started to talk, and Rabbi Alter expressed his pain regarding the fact that Yerushalayim, which had once been the holiest city of the righteous people in the world and the most wholehearted Jews, was now the home to too many Jews who had discarded Torah and the mitzvot. These were Jews that were secular Jews, maybe even atheists. And he was very upset. So Rav Kook seemed to ignore the question and the complaint that Rabbi Alter said, and he immediately deflected the conversation to a totally different subject. At the end of this long, different conversation, Rav Kook got into Rabbi Alter's car in order to give him a tour of several ancient sites in Yerushalayim. After they got around the walls of Yerushalayim from the west to the east, the car went down the roads on Har Zion, the mountain of Zion, which overlooks a place called Gay Hinnom. I'm not kidding. There's really a place called that, Gay Hinnom. So Rav Kook pointed out the impressive valley before them and said, "This is Gay Hinnom, which is mentioned several times by the prophets. In those days, many natives would offer their sons and daughters to the fires of Molech. And it says that in the second book of Kings, chapter 23, verse 10, by the way, if you want to look it up. But he says, they offered their sons and their daughters to the fires of Molech. Today, thank God, there is no hint of this kind of idolatry. So for what it's worth, by the way, Gehinnom or Gehenna has become a synonym for the word hell in later generations, because the evil that happened there was like hell. We don't believe in heaven or hell, but hell is on earth, and that was it. So what was Rav Kook's point? Why would he take the Rebbe there? The answer is Rav Kook wanted the Rebbe to know that it is inappropriate to write off large sections of the Jewish people, period. We are obligated to love all our fellow Jews, even and especially those who do not know a mitzvah from a matzah, the mitzvot from the matzot. I know Pesach's over, but I still have some matzah left. But had God given up on Israel because of the horrors of Gehinnom, where would we, the Jewish people, be today? Would we be here at all? No. If God can tolerate what happened in that valley, full of the worst kind of sins, sacrificing sons and daughters, what could be worse? Surely, if God could tolerate that, we can too. We can tolerate those among us who practice Judaism differently than we believe it should be practiced, and those who think the way we live our Judaism is too secular, too liberal, or too orthodox. We have no right to judge. That's not what we were chosen to do. We were never chosen to judge our own people, only to love them. So though it is very hard to do, and I've been all over the place on this myself when I was younger, today I'm not. Jews have to be loved regardless. But it's really hard to do. And we are also required to love those Jews who demonstrate against today's state of Israel, even them. We must try with love in our hearts, not anger, but love in our hearts, to convince them of the error of their ways. The Torah forbids us to give up on them. We might not succeed. We might fail. But that's our job. We have to try. We may not like them very much for standing against their own family. That's true. We might not like them, but we must love them and try to teach them why they are so wrong. And there are too many of them for any one of us to help, but we must try. So while what they are doing is very wrong, we all know that, if we do not love them as Jews, we will quickly learn that two wrongs do not make a right. With the growing out of control of anti-Semitism, not loving our fellow Jews will force us all to wind up living in Gehenna, all of us, no matter how good we are. We must love our fellow Jew. We must work hard to never allow Gehenna to happen again. And with that, I would love to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom